welcome to the 2024 Hogs Happy Hour, our first show of the year. Glad to be back after the holidays. It was good to kind of just sit around, do nothing all for 2 weeks. As a teacher, they give us those glorious 2 weeks off of work, so I was very thankful for that. As always, joined by Jason, and I was joined by Ashton, but Ashton decided to go
Nice.
away. So, all right,
Well
Jason,
then,
how's it going?
it's going good. Trying to start 2024 off right.
Yep. So, and Ashton has joined us back again.
Hey man, I don't
He's
know. I think some of these other podcasts are trying to sabotage us.
oh
They
yeah.
call my phone, and then as soon as I get a phone call, I can't hear anything. Man,
Anyways, if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and share and comment if you want to be a part of the show. If you're on Twitter or X, you can now comment on there instead of going to YouTube. But if you're also on YouTube, you can also subscribe and comment on there. We love to talk to our live viewers. Even if you watch the recording, you can still leave comments and we will reply back to you. So we'll start with basketball today, since conference season starts this Saturday. We wrapped up the non-conference schedule. Got a little bit of a winning streak going into conference play. So we'll start with Jason. What are your thoughts on the non-conference play so far from the Hogs?
Uh, it was actually kind of scary there. I mean, these games have been a little bit closer than what we had thought with some of these teams. I mean, we did beat a few good teams, but there's a lot of times where we let teams come back into the game. Um, it just makes me kind of iffy on the rest of the season. Just, I mean, we did have Minifield come back, or actually eligible to play, which I think did help us. But how much help is he going to be in the long run? We'll see.
All right, Ashton.
um, I was super encouraged to see Minifield in his third game be able to put up a career high 32 points. Be able to dish the ball off for he was impressive to watch. I think he just looked confident. But we're talking about like a kid who looks like he's 16 years old in the face, but plays like he's a grown man. Um, I'm encouraged by him. I'm a little discouraged by the fact that it's taken a kid this young to have to step up and lead the offense as the point guard when you have two to three other upperclassmen who have the ability to run that role or play that role, but they just haven't done it. I think we're going to have to still be able to shore up some things on defense, but I think we beat a good team in UNC Wilmington.
Mhm.
It wasn't, the name is very, it could fool a lot of people. When you see UNC Wilmington, you don't associate it obviously with a big conference or a Power Five, and for them to come into Arkansas, I think it would have been an even more difficult game if you went to UNC Wilmington and had to play them there. And keep in mind, and most folks already know, the same team that went into Rupp Arena and beat Kentucky. So
Yeah.
not a pushover by any means. And man, it's been a tough non-conference schedule for us this year. So maybe we can use some momentum, the scoring momentum. The offense finally got back on track to carry that over
Mhm.
into the conference.
Well, I'm gonna be the sunshine pumper here. Outside of UNC Greensboro, I think we won the games we were supposed to win, right?
Yeah, I think y'all can disagree with me if you want to or agree. It doesn't matter. I felt like I would have felt better if we could have beat a team like Memphis.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like that's a team that you need to beat. And then Stanford's not looking like such a bad win. I think they beat Arizona, I think, the other
Yeah,
day, and
they did.
so. Um, but you take away the North Carolina loss. Um, who else did we get beat by in that tournament? You know, there's another ranked team with
It
be.
was North Carolina.
Is
Yeah,
that the only other ranked team that beat us?
it was North
Yeah.
Carolina, and Memphis wasn't ranked at the time, were they?
No, not
No.
at the time, but they are now.
So we have 4 losses. We've got North Carolina, we've got UNC Greensboro, we've got Memphis, and who was the other one?
Oklahoma.
Okay, so you take away the Oklahoma and the North Carolina game, both really good teams. That beat us. Maybe we're not quite there yet, but who knows? Who's to say that come March, if we make the tournament, you play a similar team and you see a different Arkansas. So I think you're right. Outside of UNC Greensboro, I think we won the games we were supposed to. But the one I would have liked to have seen us win was the Memphis game.
I will say it's a very good non-conference schedule put together by Musselman and his staff. I think it's a lot of good mid-major teams that have a chance to win their conference. So it was a very good non-conference schedule. We talked about Minifield earlier, so I'm going to pose the question: is Minifield the answer? When we're kind of struggling with those wins, or trying to get wins in non-conference play, we were like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with this team?" It's supposed to be a bunch of veteran guards who know how to play. So, do you think Minifield is the answer to the struggles the Hogs have had?
I mean, I don't think it's a complete answer. I mean, it is a big help, yes, but we have other questions and concerns that are on the team.
Yeah, I think Minifield is, again, as Jason said, Minifield is definitely a big help, shores up a lot of questions that we did have. But I just don't think that it's you can't have inconsistency from the guys who are supposed to be your scorers every night. You can't have a Battle go out there and just absolutely struggle from the field and just going up there jacking up horrible. I mean, when it goes in, it's a great idea, right? Whenever those fadeaway threes, the threes on the run that go in, those are great choices. But the majority of the time, those really aren't great choices because I think they've gone in 2 or 3 times, and he does that little shimmy when he makes it, which you always love to see the shimmy because he's made it. But most of the time, those don't go in. But you need Battle to be a better decision maker. You also need Trevon Brazil to be assertive.
Yeah, that's one thing. He stays out there on that 3-point line way too much. He's got to get to the rim.
Yeah. Speaking of Brazil, in y'all's opinion, what is his problem? Do you think it's the injury? Do you think it's maybe, I don't know, maybe he's not as great as we think he is?
I hate to say this because I've seen him just absolutely get after it on multiple occasions, but I may be reading this wrong, and if I'm reading this wrong, throw me to the wolves. But it looks like sometimes when Brazil plays that he just is so lackadaisical and lethargic with his effort. You don't see. I like kids like Layden Blocker, who even if the game's not on the line, his kid is jumping on the floor and he's going after every loose ball. And Brazil will let a guy get to the rim just to see if he can block the shot a lot of times. And that's frustrating. Get in front of the guy, draw a charge, do something, but don't let him just go right around you. There's been too much of that going on right now in Razorback basketball. Too many straight line drives to the rim for easy baskets. That's something we got to fix.
Yeah. So, let's say, what was your most disappointing thing about the so far in the non-conference games for the Hogs?
Jason, I know what I'm going to say, but go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, the lack of defense at times. I mean, it's a lot of times it was just piss poor defense.
Yeah, I think most folks would say definitely what Jason said. Just the defense at times was just non-existent. When you let a team, and one of the things that really concerned me, you shouldn't let certain teams hang around ball games.
Mm-hmm.
And what concerns me is you got a group full of juniors and seniors that don't know how to put away a team. you should know at this point how to put people away to close games out. And the fact that you let a team like, was it Lipscomb,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Butter Rock.
nearly beat you
Mm-hmm.
when they had
Right.
no business being in the game.
You were
That's
up
a
by, like,
concern.
20.
Yeah, up by 20. That's definitely a concern. So, like I said, maybe we've turned the corner. UNC Wilmington throughout that game kept fighting back, and then we just kept putting up points, Sometimes there are going to be games like that where teams just won't go away, and if they won't go away, what you can't do is run out the clock. You can't run the clock down to 5 seconds on the shot clock up 20 for 10 possessions in a row and jack up a shot and hope to keep a lead. That's just not how it's going to work. Keep the pressure on. Do things change in non-conference? I mean, non-conference. Do things change in conference? Do you see a team that has a little more of a chip on their shoulder?
Uh,
We'll see Saturday, I suppose.
I mean, I think they will. I mean, conference play is a whole different type of basketball.
So let's have some positives here. What's the most encouraging thing you saw in non-conference play?
I mean,
Mm.
when the team is good that we're playing against, we play up to them, and look at the game against Duke, or even the exhibition game against Purdue. I mean, they played them toe to toe, but then again, you get these bad teams, and we play down to their level.
Yeah, I will say this: a positive you can definitely take is the fact that Arkansas basketball is in a position with the fans and the success it's had that no matter who we play, night in night out, you're gonna have a packed house. Um, you're gonna have a lot of people be at those games and be supportive. But when people when they give us something to cheer about, that place, it doesn't matter where they're at, Little Rock or Fayetteville, that place is rocking. So I can take away from what I've seen is most teams are not going to want to play us at home, even if we're on a bad streak. You don't want to play us at home. Most of the time.
Yeah. Now, to me, what was encouraging was the play of Blocker. Freshman
Yeah.
coming in,
Yeah.
and the little glimpse we saw of Bay Fall. I think he's going to end up being a pretty good player. Again, he's very young, very inexperienced, but that's just non-conference. I don't think you're going to see a lot of opinion in conference play.
No, I think you may have seen just about the last you saw Pinion.
I agree.
I don't know what it is. Pinion. Oh, and by the way, Cook, I see you're here. Oh, Cookie. Cookie, you want to come coach my defense?
Nashville, Arkansas ain't far away.
That's right. What I see is I like the fact that Jalen Graham, when he wants to be dominant, I think he can be dominant.
Oh yeah, I mean he is a good scorer. Just his defense play lacks. I think that's why he doesn't get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I think it reminds me. He and Brazil are so similar. They will turn their bodies to the side, let the guy go to the rim, and then try to block a shot, get up off their feet, and then they draw a foul, and then they're in foul trouble. That's a problem. So I think there's going to be a lot to say after Saturday's game.
Yep. So Saturday starts SEC play, and this is where Brazil, as we talked about, needs to get his head out of his what. Because he has scouts that are watching him, NBA scouts, and he's not proving anything. I know he's coming back from a ACL injury, but you've played 13 games or something.
He's played 13 games. Yeah, he does lead the team in rebounds.
Well, surprisingly, somehow. All right, Josh Cook. He said, "What's the overall deal with Pinion, especially if D Ford transfers?" So, he's talking about Darian Ford. He transferred to Arkansas State last year, I'm assuming. And then, to me, I don't I just think he's getting buried on the bench. I mean,
Man, I think it has more to do with Pinion. I mean, watch him play. I think the kid can shoot, but the speed of the game is just too much for him. He's not in the right place. I mean, I don't know. I see him pick up fouls because he can't get out of the way, or he can't move his feet fast enough, and then he sure doesn't get to the rim. Like his ball handling skills aren't good enough to get to the rim, and he's not confident in himself enough. Um, and to Josh's point, why wouldn't he transfer? I was shocked. I think me and Blake and probably you too, Jay, we were all shocked when he chose to stay because we said, where does he fit on this depth chart? And I think Musselman wanted him so badly to be a part of the rotation, but you can't. He's a defensive liability. Are you gonna? Let me ask you this: are you gonna give the ball to Joseph Pinion to break a press break? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm going to give the ball to Minifield. I'm not giving the ball to Pinion. I don't care how long he's been there at Arkansas.
Yeah, I think I think he'll probably transfer out.
I mean, does it mean that Pinion's not a good ball player? No, it doesn't mean he's not a good ball player. I just don't think he fits in this system. He may fit somewhere else where he can play off the ball the whole time, but you've got to be able to play somewhat decent defense under Musselman because we play so fast.
Well, what if he was to develop his 3-point shot? Do you think that would help him?
Well, I mean, I think he can already shoot. I think his 3-point shot is about as good as it's going to get. The kid can shoot lights out. But when you jack up, I mean, the thing is, the other night I watched him play. He had a wide open 3 and missed. When you don't play very much and when you have wide open opportunities and your defense isn't very good, brother, let me tell you a little something. You better hit every single 3 that you take if you know your defense isn't great. Like, you have to give me a reason to keep you on the field or keep you on the floor. An example being like, me being a baseball fan, there will be some guys who are horrendous at defense. Okay, horrendous at defense, but they can hit a ton. I'm going to tell you something about baseball. If you can hit a ton, they will find you somewhere to play. Okay, that's offense. Okay, but Pinion is a hit. I mean, if you can't make the wide open 3 and that's what you're known for, and you can't play very good defense, you ain't gonna play.
So I think the reason he's not getting a lot of play time is his defense. He's a kind of a liability out there. Especially, an SEC play is going to crank up. It's about to move a lot quicker than it did in non-conference.
What's the spread Saturday? Cook wants to know what the spread is.
They don't release the spreads till like a day before.
Oh.
So right now there's no spread.
All right.
So I would guess Auburn minus
6.
Minus 5.
5.
I'd say
5. All right, 5-6. We'll go 5.5.
All right.
So minus 5.5. I'll go Auburn.
Well, I don't understand what Cook wants to log into the show. Why can't he get his butt on this show, man? Come on, Cookie.
I can send him the code real quick.
Cookie, if you're in here, we're gonna Hoag's about to send you a link. You need to get in on this conversation here.
All right, so let me get y'all set up here. All right, so Auburn is ranked. So people are going to say it's our Super Bowl again. Because that's what everyone says about Arkansas. We love claim everyone as our Super Bowl. So they come to town 1:00 ESPN 2. All right, what is y'all's predictions on this game?
Oh man, their leading scorer is Broom, their center.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We tend to play well against their other team's big men. We've done it multiple times. And Broom's not a shooter. Man, I can't help but think that Arkansas wins by 3. Arkansas by 3.
Yeah. It will be a close game. But Auburn is coming there with a chip on their shoulder from the last time that they played here in Fayetteville.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, Devo Davis was teabagging them last time they were in town. So I'm sure Auburn players are, they're going to be trash talking Devo a lot. So I think if you haven't watched Auburn this year, they like to get under their opponent's skin. So we're going to have to be very careful. I will predict Musselman will probably end up with a technical foul, because I think last time we shot over 40 free throws against them at home.
I'm going to say not only that, Blake. I'm going to say that either Devo Davis or Trevon Brazile pick up a technical as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game to watch. It's going to be a lot of trash talking.
It's going to be a physical game. That's.
Yeah. It's but now also on Wednesday we will also play Georgia. So by the time we come back on live, we will have 2 conference games. So do you think we end up 0-2, 1-1, or 2-0?
Dang, I don't know. Georgia's been playing good. Georgia's been playing good basketball too. Yeah. Is the head coach of Georgia? Is it Mike White? Used to be at Florida.
Yes.
Is that right?
I believe so.
All right. So I'm going to say Arkansas. Oh gosh.
Put you on the spot.
I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, man, and I probably should be. I just know how things have gone as a Razorback fan. Yeah. But it's a new year, Blake. It's a new year. It's a new me. We're 2-0.
But the Hogs are also terrible in January.
We're not talking about that, Blake. Blake, that's not what the people want to hear. Yeah. Yeah. We're 2-0. Only positive thinking on this podcast, my friend.
Yeah. All right.
Except for the ones last year. Except for the positive podcast last year.
I thought the football teams are going to win 9 games. God, don't ever listen to me. Ever.
Yeah, Blake can't even count to 9. All right, come on, man.
But I think with Minifield playing as well as he has played, I hate to say this because I'm a positive person, but I could see us being 2-0 start off play. So like Ashton said, we're starting off positive.
All right, Blake.
He's going to text me at halftime.
We should fire Musselman.
Yeah, that's right. And then I'm going to be, man, we're so poor that Mama made a hamburger helper without the hamburger. That's how bad we're going to be playing.
Yeah. So there's no flow. There's no communication. There's no this. We can't defend a 3.
And I'm going to say, Blake, why'd you talk me into 2-0?
But, all right. So we're going to have a special guest here soon. As always, we love to talk SEC sports with
Dave.
What's going on?
We want Dave.
We took a week off. I'm glad y'all had me back on now.
Yeah. Yes.
What's going on, man?
Did y'all have a good Christmas?
Oh yeah.
I got spoiled, man. I got spoiled.
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I heard y'all talking. Y'all ready for Arkansas to be 2-0 in conference play by the time y'all's next episode rolls around?
only positive thinking this year, Dave. Only positive thinking.
But seriously, do y'all not feel good about it? Do y'all not on a scale of 1 through 10 right now? I'm asking y'all a question. What is y'all's confidence level the Hogs make the tournament as we stand right now on January 4th?
A 7.
A 7?
I'm gonna say I'm at an 8. Yeah.
Your day, because what do they say? Because I was prepping for my show today. Because I got what are they sitting there at 86th in the net?
Yeah, they're. Yeah.
What were they? I forget. What were they in net going into? Y'all remember what they were going into conference play last year?
Well, we're not in the 100. Were we in the 100?
We were down there, weren't we? We were.
Yeah.
I have to.
Because last year's non-conference schedule wasn't the best.
No.
And we lost. We lost a few games.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. As a Hog fan, I was surprised we made the tournament. I mean, we had 20 wins, 21 wins, and I mean.
Then they lost. Well, then they lost the tough game in the SEC tournament, the A&M game. They should have won. I mean, you felt like Arkansas was already in the tournament.
The
SEC tournament. That was a tough. You're right. It was almost like Arkansas hung around and just literally did enough. And then when they announced the pairings, it was like, I bet Kansas is sitting there like, shit, we don't want to play Arkansas in the second round of the tournament. I guess Arkansas is better than the record, or they're better than an 8-9 seed.
Well, we were sitting back thinking, well, that 9-8 matchup is exactly what Arkansas deserved.
Yeah.
You play like poop, you kind of deserve it.
See,
But
I think all right, so here's how I feel about it, Dave. And I think most college basketball teams think probably the way you're thinking is when March rolls around and Arkansas is a tournament team, which I think they'll be a tournament team.
Me too.
Arkansas is not the team you want to see in the first round. And really, honestly, Arkansas is most likely not the team that you want to play in the tournament. In fact, there are teams in the tournament who will have a higher seeding than Arkansas that you probably would rather play before you played Arkansas.
Yeah, I know. I would agree with you. I mean, once they started to get Nick Smith, because I was at was it Nick Smith's first game back? Was it the game in Tuscaloosa last year? I was at that game. He played, but Anthony Black was out.
Yeah.
So they never had any of their guys. It was almost like that team could never just get on the same page from an injury standpoint until the end of the year.
Yeah.
Not even the end of the year, really, till the tournament.
Yeah. Who was the glue man? The cookie. Hey. Cook. Who was the glue man for Arkansas in the tournament last year?
The glue man?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Jay Will?
Yeah. What? Last year? That was two.
Last year.
Last year.
I would say Devo, right?
Yeah, it had to be Devo late, right?
Oh yeah. So Devo. So Dave, when we're talking about Devo has not been the same Devo this year, right?
No.
So
Yeah,
if Devo
last year, wasn't he?
If Devo can come alive, come April. I mean, not April. February, late February. I think you start feeling good as a Hog fan because he's that. I feel like he needs to be that leader.
Yeah. No, if Minifield can keep playing well, I think that would be big. Is anybody kept up? What's Jordan Walsh been doing professionally? I saw he came out and started playing well offensively in the combine and stuff. What's he done this year?
I know he's on their G League team. But I'll tell you, guys.
Didn't he come out and say he thought he was limited from what he could do offensively in Musta's system?
He did. But I got surprising is Ricky Council. He was called up.
He got to start today, huh?
Yep.
So Jordan Walsh is actually on the roster for the Celtics. He was called back up from the G League at the end of November, and it looks like he's had nothing. I think maybe had a good game or 18 points or something like that. No, that was in his NBA debut. So he's had decent games in the NBA. He nearly had a double-double one night. So he has ability. And really, I think me and Blake thought that he would be the most talented of the three because he hadn't reached his potential in my book yet. So
Anthony Black's killing it right now.
Yeah, Anthony Black.
Yeah.
Who's he with?
The Magic.
Magic, that's right.
He is. I mean, him and also an old Hog. He's not that old. Is Jalen Williams with the Thunder?
Yeah, Jay Will. Yeah. Where's our guy JD Note at?
Is he overseas?
I think he is overseas.
Yeah. He's over at Ricky Council's Sixers, Hornets. They got why does the name slip my mind? We just talked about him. Kid from Little Rock, Wilson.
Which one?
What's his?
Nick Smith.
Yeah. He's at the Hornets, and
it says JD Note plays overseas in Italy.
And he's probably pretty popular there.
I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of the place. I just go with Italy.
Boy, that Arkansas is coming through, and Jason over there.
But I will say, I think Multiman's probably, he's the coach you don't want to have to game plan against in March.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he is. it just kind of goes back to his NBA days, I guess, of having a game plan quickly for other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, they have seems like a good process. I mean, obviously, I don't know what goes in their process with them in tournament time, but they seem like at the end of the year, him and his staff do a good job of preparing their team for the next matchup.
Yeah, see, and you know what's cool to me is on his staff, the fact that his son has been very instrumental in bringing a lot of that top recruits to Arkansas, and for him to be able to move up and be one of the actual assistant coaches this year was really interesting to me. And there's nothing funnier to me than watch Coach Smart and his son try to keep Coach Musselman from picking up technical. There's nothing funnier than for them to just like hold him back because he's a tiny little dude, and they're two big men like holding him. But I think his staff, the way he's built that staff, these guys are very knowledgeable. The fact that he could bring back Ronnie Brewer, and add him to the staff, man, I love that. And it seems like the players respond to this staff. So I have good feelings about where this team can be a month and a half from now. Okay, so that's why I gave them 8 out of 10.
I don't know. But all right, so let's talk about what happened this past Monday. Bama losing. So I think Ashton wants to talk about that. He loves Alabama, by the way.
All right, so I don't know. I had 2 questions. I know one of my questions was run me through in your mind that last play call, Dave.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people came out and thought it was an RPO. I didn't think it was, and then I saw Saban today. Coach Saban said on Pat McAfee's show, he kind of said it post game too, that it wasn't an RPO. He didn't like the look. I guess Michigan had it. I mean, y'all remember it was the Alabama. I think liked their look. Michigan didn't, called the timeout.
Right.
And then Alabama called the timeout the second time, and then Alabama just rolled with it. I mean, I don't know if the season's on the line, I'm running a quarterback draw. I'm rolling. Maybe this is simple, but I think it also cuts off half the field. And then if Jalen Milroe has to go make a play with his legs, he can. I would have rolled him out.
I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, you give him a couple options for something. Whereas at the quarterback, I mean, it's there a little bit, but almost everybody has to. I mean, you look at Michigan had an extra defender, so it's not really all of the offensive line. They can't block from a number standpoint, but it's on everyone. You are basically banking on everybody to win their job. The tight end didn't do a great job on the edge. So J.C. Latham on the right side got pushed around, didn't watch his guy. So, I mean, you were asking a lot in the snap. Obviously gets his eyes off. He panicked a little bit. The snap, obviously, the snaps, as y'all knew, the 3 or 4 of them
there were several, right?
For all night. But no, I mean, I wouldn't have called that. I mean, hindsight 2020, everybody's probably like, man, what a ballsy call if Jalen Milroe gets in that Alabama playing Washington on Monday night. But instead he didn't, so it is what it is. But I never really thought it was an RPO because you could tell Jalen Milroe never once looked over to Roy L. Williams going in motion. I think they were just trying to get that linebacker out of the box, and they kind of did.
I mean, so ultimately, for every coach, if it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't work, horrible call. I think I felt all game long, the more opportunity that Milroe had to roll out and to make something happen, if there's nothing there, I feel more comfortable with that.
And I think also think another thing is it's not Jalen Milroe is what he is. Like, I don't really necessarily think – I mean, he had some solid games, but also think from a processing standpoint and then developing an intermediate passing game is next step, I guess you would say, going into the 24 season. But really, this specific point here is if you could have brought in 2 plays, I just don't think, even throughout the whole game, he can't make reads at the line of scrimmage. Like, granted, now we're talking about the first pick in the overall draft here. Jalen Milroe is not going to be that. But Bryce Jones could check stuff out where you're an offensive coordinator. You could probably call 2 plays at once, and he could get you in the right stuff. There were some of those blitzes, to give Michigan credit. Jesse Minter, the DC, they had a good scheme where they were like, hey, because the last few weeks of the season, everybody's only rushing 3 or 4 against Alabama, I guess trying to contain Milroe just to make sure he wasn't getting outside the pocket. But you gave him forever to sit in the pocket, hold the ball. I think Milroe held the ball the second longest of any quarterback in the country. I think like 3.25 seconds he held the ball. So to give Michigan credit, they're like, we're just going to come at him and make him make quick decisions. And you could tell he was seeing goes, was kind of rattled all game. But there were some plays you sit there, I'm like, Jalen, he's coming, man. What are you seeing? Because, they had a bunch of free rushers. I don't ever think he could get those protections right. And from talking to some people over there at Alabama earlier in the year, they were calling the protections from the sidelines for him. So I don't know if that changed on the back end, but you could tell Michigan and Jesse Miller took advantage of that. I don't think he could make checks at the line of scrimmage to get them into the right play. And that last play, 4th and goal, instead of probably bringing, hey, Jalen, if we have the numbers, let's go with the quarterback draw. If not, you got to know, hey, we got to check into play B, whatever the hell we brought in with that as well. I think that's a little bit of an issue. But Saban's not going to go throw him under the bus like that.
No, you're right. Saban's not going to do that. Now, the other thing that I was going to ask you was, would you have felt – I mean, from my perspective, what I watched, I felt as if Georgia would have been the better matchup against Michigan than Alabama was.
Yeah, Georgia probably – I mean, if Georgia's in it, Georgia probably wins the whole thing. I mean, crazy to say, too. I think if Jordan Travis doesn't get hurt for Florida State, they could probably potentially be under because their defense is really good when they're all there. Jordan Travis, obviously good quarterback. They have some weapons on the outside. But, yeah, I mean, Georgia, I think it's a top 4. To have a hard time finding 4 teams that are better than Georgia. I mean, do y'all agree with that, or you feel like –
I mean, what do you think?
I think they couldn't – there's no way I see some people on social media – Georgia should have been in. It's like, how the hell are you going to put Georgia in above Alabama when Alabama beat them like 12 hours early? They have the same record, and Alabama won the SEC. You couldn't put them in. But
you name off
what'd you say?
Name off the teams in the playoffs and tell me you'd put your money on someone against Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I gun to my head and you were like you just said, any of those teams, Michigan, Washington, Alabama, or Texas, it's like
they had one bad game.
Your life in the line. Georgia's got 4 or 5 weeks to get healthy. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Georgia.
Yeah. I know this sounds crazy. Maybe it doesn't sound crazy, but I feel like I would trust Carson Beck to make a protection call before I trust Jalen Milroe to make a protection call.
Yeah, 100%. That's where Milroe's got to take the next step next year.
I don't know. Milroe's just never sold me as a quarterback, man.
Yeah.
You know what wasn't there that's been there all year for Jalen Milroe? If you go back and watch the highlights of Jalen Milroe, it's like he just throws up these absolute bombs, and they were there. I saw multiple times throughout that game against Michigan, he threw those deep balls, and they sailed out of bounds.
Yeah, Michigan safeties. Michigan doesn't give. They're predominant. When I was doing this, before I was prepping for my show, doing the preview for the Rose Bowl, and going back and watching about 8 of their games, they're primarily in cover 3. Like they don't give up back. Their scheme doesn't allow big play. I think they were top 3 in the country in 20 plus yards a play or something. I think giving up 20 yards a play or top 3 defense. They didn't give up explosive plays.
Yeah, I noticed that Michigan was pressing the receivers to the sideline.
Yeah, they were so boom or bust. Like they just – that's the problem with Alabama this year is they didn't sustain a lot of drives. And I think Michigan was like, hey, if we can bring some pressures, get our corners and safeties to play deep, not let them get behind them. I don't know if they can go play mistake-free football for 8 to 10 drives, and they proved it, whether it's between snaps, false starts, illegal substitution. I thought the game was kind of when Alabama was driving with 6-7 minutes left, they're up 3. Jam Miller converted that big first down. So it's 1st and 10 at Michigan's, I think, 30. And Bama gets that illegal substitution penalty, 1st and 15. Instead, they settle for a field goal to make it 7. Michigan goes and ties it. I mean, I think y'all would agree. If Alabama goes and scores there and makes it a 10-point game with 5 or 6 minutes left, it's probably over because Michigan is an offense. So I think anytime they got behind the chains a lot this year, they struggled unless they hit a deep ball. And Michigan was kind of like, we'll just take that away and let's see what happens.
Yep.
Right.
It worked.
It worked for sure.
All right, Jason, you're up, brother.
Well, not necessarily an SEC question, but do you think they should postpone any sort of awards like Heisman Awards or any other type of awards till after bowl season's over with? And maybe that would encourage more players to actually play in these bowl games.
I'd probably be a little bit more in favor of giving like like the Doak Walker Award, Davey O'Brien, Jim Thorpe out after the season. Heisman, I think, kind of adds some, I don't know, allure, some marketing, some media stuff to it, doing it right after championship weekend. And I think Jaden Daniels probably wouldn't have played anyways, no matter what. So, I mean, I don't know if it makes that big of a difference, but I'm with you. I would like to see maybe some of those individual position awards being awarded after the season compared to the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a few fan comments here. Dave, you may not know what BMFP stands for. I'll tell you the B stands for Bobby, and
Bobby,
the P stands
mother
for
after Trina.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the future head hog, man.
Hey, Josh Cook coined that phrase, and we're real proud of him. You know, the pride and joy of our lives.
I appreciate that.
And Peter also
Going on
said
my
he wanted Bama to win. So
I
think
did
a lot
too.
of people from the SEC
I wanted Bama to win too.
Wanted Bama to win.
Yeah, Bama got outplayed, man.
Yeah, they did. Hell, Michigan didn't even play that great either.
No, they really didn't. But you just make one or two more plays at that level, you win.
Yeah, that was the difference with Alabama this year. They couldn't go win with a B- game against other good teams, where they could have in the past a little bit.
Yeah, they had to play perfect.
Yeah, like they had to play. I think if Alabama played their best and Michigan played their best, Alabama probably wins the game. But it's like you said, Alabama plays they played a C plus game, maybe. They just Michigan's good too. I mean, Michigan's a good team. So Alabama had to play their best.
All right, so let's talk about this weekend, opening basketball. Is there anything you're looking forward to this Saturday?
Two things. I think one's an obvious. I think people kind of want to see how Ole Miss is. I don't necessarily think Ole Miss has to go win the game. I just want to go see them compete. I saw Kim Palm still has Tennessee winning. It's like about 14 this weekend against them. But I just want to go see how Ole Miss kind of handles that environment, obviously being undefeated. I don't think they got to win it. I just want to see them look pretty good. And then, honestly, I think the most intriguing game, not from a national standpoint, I think most people will probably gravitate around that Tennessee-Ole Miss game just to see what Ole Miss is about. But that game in y'all's neck of the woods, the Auburn-Arkansas game with Arkansas is a big opportunity for Arkansas to go get a big win at home. Their back's kind of against the wall. This is kind of where Muss thrives, I feel like. It's in Arkansas. That place will be rocking, I'm assuming, just like it is for most big-time matchups. I heard y'all mention it earlier. Yeah, Auburn was y'all Super Bowl, 2 years ago when Kessler and Jabari Smith and them came in?
Yeah.
But, I think that's honestly, that's my most intriguing game of the slate. Some people may disagree, but I think that's a massive game for Arkansas, as we were just talking about, for them to go make the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's a massive quad one win. Auburn, I think a top 3 team in the league right now, coming into your building. Very winnable game for Arkansas, but it's one of those you're going to look back. I think they're going to look back at the end of February, March, as conference tournament season starts, when you're looking at your resume to make the NCAA tournament and be like, man, hey, I'm glad we got that one in our pocket, or damn, we let that one slip away.
Yeah, we are. I'm sure we're all looking forward to opening weekend of SEC basketball. When conference play starts, it kind of ramps up a little bit. Each game, especially for Arkansas, each game is crucial because we haven't been great in January, so hopefully we can buck that trend.
Did y'all see Kim Palm? Did y'all see Kim Palm as Arkansas starting off 0-4 in conference?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't. I said 2-0 earlier, but I I can see it. I mean, we have not played great past under Musselman at the beginning of conference play.
No.
It wouldn't be real shocking, would it? Tell me if it would be if Arkansas beat Auburn on Saturday and then went and really struggled in Athens. Would not shock me at all.
No, it wouldn't shock me either.
They're going to lose. They could lose, but it wouldn't shock me if that game's like you're like, dang, dude, they look like back to themselves. They looked at non-conference. But I think Arkansas is going to come play well on Saturday.
Yeah, I think starting off at home, it
helps.
doesn't hurt.
It helps. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps out a ton. Now Auburn may shoot the lights out, shoot the 3. I don't know if you know this, Dave, but teams when they come into Bud, they shoot the 3 very well.
That'll be from doing my research for my preview tonight. That kind of seems like it's the make or break kind of point. If Auburn shoots well, Auburn will probably win. If not, just because Arkansas is so good at protecting the rim, I don't really see how Auburn produces a ton of points if they're not shooting well from the outside either. I mean, Janai Broom's a good player, but I also don't think he can just go win that game by himself.
Yeah. So, do you think Ole Miss is? You think they have a legit chance to win the SEC?
To win the SEC in basketball this year?
Yeah.
No, I think they'll probably finish somewhere in sixth. If you're making me 1 through 14, put an exact spot finish, I'd probably see 6th, 7th, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think they'll win the SEC. Yeah. I mean, I think I watched them a lot early in the season, and I feel like they got better each week. It will be interesting to see if they, and this is a Beard strength, as they play defense well, and Ole Miss has improved on defense. But I think since guys like Matthew Morrell, Alan Flanagan have kind of started to get into their rhythm offensively, the defense has gotten a little worse. So that will be interesting in a league. Another interesting thing in the league, y'all didn't ask me, but I thought it'll be interesting how Alabama is in the league. It's not look like Alabama can score on anybody. They struggle to defend. The SEC isn't really a great scoring league, though, from top to bottom. Yeah. And it looks like Alabama's gone and scored on a lot of other elite defensive teams in Purdue, Creighton, and Arizona. So it looks like they are the real deal. I mean, they're the number one offensive efficiency team in college basketball. So I think they're going to score on most nights, get theirs, even when they're not shooting threes. It will be interesting if they get into league play and you're like, they've actually produced. They got 12, 13 wins, 14 wins. Look at them. Because the league is athletic. But as y'all know, the last few years, the league overall is not a great shooting league from top to bottom.
No. And also, I've watched, you probably watch a lot more than I have, but SEC games I've watched, there's not really a dominant big man.
No, you can make an argument. Janai Broome may be the best big man that Arkansas is going to see this week.
Yeah, but, hopefully we can figure him out. Before we let you go, who do you have winning the national championship in football? I know it's not SEC, but who do you have?
You want to say Michigan? But I just like the way Michael Penix is playing right now. I kind of like, dude, gun to my head, we were talking about who you'd go with if you had to redo it, or if you were talking about putting Georgia back in. Obviously, I think I'd take Georgia over any team in the country in a one-game setting. I got a feel. I thought Washington would beat Texas. I thought it was a good matchup for them. I thought they'd take advantage of Texas' secondary. In today's college football, I like the explosive offense. I don't think Alabama really tested that. I think Penix is a more obviously well-rounded passer than Jalen Milroe is. Washington's got better receivers than Alabama does. I kind of like Washington in this matchup for whatever reason. I think they're solid enough to make enough stops against Michigan to win.
Yeah, but it is number 1 versus number 2. So I'm going with Washington as well, just because of Penix. He's balling out right now. So all right, Dave, we sure appreciate it.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Look forward to seeing y'all next Thursday.
Yes, sir. See you next Thursday.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. So, just us two to finish out the show. So very quickly, we're going to switch to football because football always has news with the transfer portal and coaches. All right, Kenny Guyton is going to Wisconsin. Supposedly, nothing really official that I've seen. And then we Fouch from Missouri State. Now, Bobby Petrino is familiar with him. He was the OC at Missouri State again. Now, his Twitter profile says Arkansas receivers coach, but like I said, I haven't been on Twitter since the show started, but I don't think nothing official has come out on Fouch. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be your new receivers coach now. This is his first big time job, which everybody needs their chance. If Bobby Petrino trusts him, I can trust him.
Well, Sam Pittman was a. He's never been a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I sit there and look, and he's not a big name hire like everybody was hoping for. But you got to think Bobby Petrino trusts him. You got to think he knows what he's looking for. So you just have to trust.
And he is a former quarterback. He played college ball at Washington. So as a receivers coach, he probably knows what the receivers want. As a former quarterback. Now he has coached running backs and quarterbacks and OC. So he's very familiar with the offensive side of the ball. I think he's young. I think he's just a little bit older than I am at 32. So. It's good. Everyone needs that first chance.
Yeah.
And Arkansas was not going, in my opinion, was not going to get a big time hire because it's kind of it's going to sound bad. It's kind of a career suicide move if you come to Arkansas because if nothing goes right this year, then it's going to be a clean house.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, if it's a clean house, do you think they still just move Petrino up? Is it?
I think Petrino's he's done it. He's been a head coach. I think he just wants to call offense. I don't think he wants to be in charge of everything,
I would
and
say,
especially with the NIL and all that.
but when we played Missouri State, in fact, a few years ago, was he the wide receiver coach there then?
He was on staff, but he wasn't
Okay.
OC. I think he was running backs coach, but he was on staff. So
Okay.
he was with Petrino. And when Petrino left, the new head coach elevated him to offense coordinator. So it'd be interesting to see what he can bring to the table. Okay, we
Yeah,
did
I mean,
get some transfers in since the last time we met. Jordan Anthony from Texas A&M. Now, apparently, he's coming here to run track as well. So he's a speedster. So we got some speed at receiver. If Isaiah Satania stays, there's rumors out there he might be leaving, but as of today, he's still there.
yeah. I mean, you can't do anything right now in the portal, anyways.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's a great pickup we got from him.
Mhm.
And then our record-setting quarterback KJ, he went to UCF, so be with Gus. So it's a good spot.
Yeah, that was an interesting spot, I think, for him to go to.
Yeah. We do have some transfers on campus this week. We got a couple of linemen on campus. We got a running back from Utah. He's also on campus. So we do have some scholarships to hand out. I think there's about 8 spots open. So we do have some spots available for players. So hopefully we can get one of them. They always say if you can get them to Fayetteville, then you can probably get them to commit to the Hogs. But with NIL, that kind of changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, that completely changes everything.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got national championship Monday. Who do you think is going to win?
I agree with y'all. Just I think Washington can end up winning it all. It'd be good. I mean, what happens if Michigan wins, then NCAA decides to vacate their wins later on down the road?
Yeah. Well, I will say, this is the 4-Star Sports Media Network, and the guy in charge, Wes Pruitt, he's having a special interview tonight with Simeon Blair, former Razorback player who was transferred to Memphis, and he had a pretty dang good year. Wes is going to have a live podcast interview with him later tonight. So if you're from the YouTube channel or Facebook, be sure to check that out. As 4-Star Sports Media, we will interview former Hog Simeon Blair. So
Should be a good
log
interview.
in, check that. Should be a very good interview. We've Simeon Blair. He's out of Pine Bluff, so he's an Arkansas kid. So he needed a different opportunity, and he's done well for himself. He has declared for the draft, so good luck to him. I know he's not a Hog anymore, but sometimes
Yeah, I mean,
the players that play hard, you root for.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to see them do good, even though they transfer out.
Now, Rocket Sanders, that's another story.
Yeah,
what he does.
Yeah, I think he quit on us. That's my feeling.
Yeah. So, anyways, for Ashton, for Jason, for our viewer Cook, who joined us for a little bit, for Dave Shumate from Mach 10 Sports, and Blake, this is 4-Star Sports Media Network. This has been the Hogs Happy Hour. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.